Welcome back to Wonder Fungi. All right, today we are diving deep into a topic that is just everywhere right now, microdosing. People are calling it a wonder drug, a secret weapon for creativity, for mood. But is it the real deal? Or is it maybe all just in our heads? Let's get into it. I mean, you've totally heard the hype, right? It seems like every Silicon Valley exec, every artist, every other podcast is talking about it. But what is microdosing really? And why is it suddenly so incredibly popular? Okay, so first things first, let's just get a sense of the scale here, because this isn't some tiny fringe thing anymore. No way. Microdosing has absolutely exploded from this, underground practice into a full-blown cultural phenomenon. And the numbers? Yeah, they might just blow your mind. Check this out. A report from 2023 estimated that 8 million people in the US alone have used psilocybin. The active compound in so-called magic mushrooms. 8 million. That is a staggering number of people who are curious about what this fungus can do. And here's the kicker. For half of those 8 million people, their last experience wasn't some big, full-on psychedelic trip. Nope, it was a microdose. So you see, this isn't just some small part of the story. It is literally half the story. So that begs the question, right? Why? Why are all these millions of people trying this? What is the big promise here that's got everyone so excited? Well, let's take a look at the incredible benefits that people say they're getting. And I mean, the list of claims is, well, it's pretty wonderful. People are talking about enhanced creativity, like breaking through creative blocks. They're talking about better focus, a brighter mood, even a bigger sense of optimism about life. And it goes on. Feeling more emotionally resilient, being able to handle stress better. These aren't small tweaks. These are potentially life-changing claims we're talking about. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. When you take all these powerful personal stories and you bring them into a scientific lab, things get, well, they get complicated. And it's not that science is just saying, nope, it's fake. Not at all. It's more like it's uncovered this absolutely fascinating puzzle that researchers are now scrambling to figure out. And this really gets to the heart of it. On one hand, you have the wonder, right? All these amazing, deeply personal experiences. But on the other hand, you have the science, these super rigorous placebo-controlled trials. And here's the thing. In study after study, microdosing has a really, really hard time showing any effects that are better than a sugar pill. And this quote, wow, it just says it all. This is from a real person in a study who said they were quite astonished to find out they'd been taking placebos. They were feeling all these positive changes, they felt different, but it was all coming from a placebo. Their experience was 100% real, but the drug wasn't. So what on earth is going on here?
Okay, to really get to the bottom of this mystery, we have to talk about why studying microdosing is so uniquely tricky. And it all boils down to this one huge research headache, the challenge of the placebo.
The whole clue is right there in the name. A microdose is meant to be sub-perceptual. So what does that mean? It means the whole point is to take a dose that's so tiny, you don't actually feel it. You're not supposed to have a trip. You're just supposed to get all those great benefits humming along in the background. And right there, you have the ultimate researcher's dilemma. Think about it. Step 1, you give someone a drug that is specifically designed not to be felt. Step 2, you have to compare it to a placebo that, well, also isn't felt. So how can you tell which is which? It's a real brain twister. How can you possibly run a blind study when both the real thing and the fake thing are supposed to feel like nothing at all? But listen, this is so important. This does not mean people's experiences aren't real. They absolutely are. In fact, maybe we're looking at this all wrong. Maybe the placebo effect isn't some kind of failure of the science. Maybe the placebo effect is its own kind of wonder. It's this incredible, powerful proof of just how amazing our minds are, that we can create real change just with our own belief and intention. So where do we land with all this? On one side, we have the wonder, millions of people having these positive experiences. On the other, the science, which is still trying to figure it all out. Maybe the answer isn't about picking a side. Maybe it's about seeing how they fit together. And maybe the question we should be asking isn't just a simple yes or no, does it work? Maybe the real question is, how does it work? Because the personal experience and the scientific data, they're not enemies. They're just two different parts of the same, really complex, really fascinating story. A story that's probably part chemistry and a whole lot of psychology.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have to go over our standard and very important disclaimer. It's important to remember that all content on Wonder Fungi is for educational, documentary, and scientific purposes only. This information is not medical advice. Psilocybin is a Schedule 1 substance in many countries and is illegal to possess. Microdosing is not an approved medical regimen, and self-dosing carries significant risks, including the unknown long-term effects, the danger of adulterated substances, and the serious psychological risks for individuals with a personal or family history of psychosis or bipolar disorder. This channel does not encourage or condone any illegal activity. Always consult a medical professional.
Wow, what a topic. Thanks so much for exploring this with us here at Wonder Fungi. If you're as fascinated by the fungal kingdom as we are, you know what to do. Make sure you like and subscribe for more.